Good morning, students. Today we will learn our next chapter from civics, and this will be the final chapter for this semester. Okay, and this chapter talks about secularism and the Indian Constitution. We will learn what is secularism and why is secularism important. Then we will learn about rights and duties. It's called as fundamental rights and fundamental duties. So we will have 6 fundamental rights and the other fundamental duties. We will look at them detailedly in this chapter. So listen to me very carefully so you can understand what this chapter is. It is very easy, okay? But you will also have to read and understand most of the part of this chapter. It's not like a story always. Okay. So, what is secularism? How do we understand secularism? How can we define secularism? Secularism is where nobody is discriminated based on their religion. When we speak about secularism, make sure religion is included. Secularism in other terms means where everyone is free to practice their own religion. Okay, now when religion and politics comes hand in hand, it causes a lot of danger. But if it's for a good cause, it causes a lot of good. But in a country like India or Sri Lanka or many other countries where there are people from variety of religion, what happens is if religion comes hand in hand, then it causes a lot of danger. Let's see one example as such, and we will look at Sri Lanka. Now, Sri Lanka has a variety of ethnic groups living in that place, just like India. India has a lot of ethnic groups. So in Sri Lanka, there are Sinhalese, Tamilians, Muslims and Christians. Okay. Now Sinhalese are people who follow Buddhism, and the Tamil people, they follow Hinduism, and Muslims follow Islam, and the Christians follow Christianity. What happened? The Sinhalese are the most populated people in Tamil Nadu. Around 75% of the people in Tamil Nadu, in Sri Lanka, not Tamil Nadu, in Sri Lanka are the Sinhalese. Okay. Now, what happened? The government of Sri Lanka accepted Sinhalese as the majority group and as the national group. Now, they said the religion followed by the Sinhalas was made as the state religion, and the language, that is Sinhala, they made it the official language of Sri Lanka. Okay. Now, when Sinhala was made the official language, only 75% or 75% of the people know Sinhala, but there are minority groups where Tamilians are there, and the other religious people are also there. Now Tamilians speak Tamil, they don't speak Sinhala, right? So the Tamilians opposed this, and what did they say? Look at your textbook. The Tamils will never forget and never forgive the majority community for depriving them of their right, which had been apparently secured to them. Okay. Now the Tamils became very angry. Why? Because they were deprived of their right. Because they were said Sinhala is the state language and Buddhism is the state religion. Then what about the other religions? The Tamils, they followed Hinduism, right? And the Islamism and Christianity. That was not regarded by the state. Now this led to a fight. Okay. What is it called? A movement, agitation, and a civil war. Finally, what happened there was a civil What? And now, finally, the government has taken back all that and they have agreed to restore all the minority groups. However, they caused a great damage to their own people. Now, this is what happens if politics and religion comes hand in hand. That is why it is important for countries like us to have a secularism. Secularism means freedom to propagate any or practice any religion. Now, Sri Lanka might have adopted Buddhism as their state religion, and there are many other countries who has their own state religion. For example, in Pakistan, Islam is the state religion. In Italy and Brazil, Christianity is the state religion. However, though India has the largest constituency and though India has a very big number of people, population, India still does not have one state religion. Majority of Indians follow Hinduism, but still Indian government from the very beginning of laying of constitution said we will have a secular democracy, meaning state is separate from the religion. No state or politics should get involved in religious activity. Religion is the choice of the people and they should be free to follow any religion. That is why India tolerates all religious practices as long as it is not harmful for the nation. Okay. So, India as a secular nation. Let's read. In 1976, the term secular was added to the preamble by the 42nd Amendment. Remember, socialist and secular are the two words added to the preamble. What is preamble? The introduction of the Constitution. Okay, it was added to the preamble in the 42nd Amendment. Okay. And Mahatma Gandhi and B.R. Ambedkar said, a secular India means there is no state religion. So they said secular India means there should be no state religion. All religions should be given the freedom to practice it. So that is a secular India. But in order to ensure religious freedom for all India, Indian followers India follows a strategy of separating religion from the state. And this state is called secularism. What is secularism? The state where religion is separate from politics or the religion is separate from the state. Okay. Politics is different, religion is different. It should not be merged. That is a secular state. Okay. Separation of religion and state. Let us see what is this separation of religion and state and what are the importance. First one, by doing so, we can protect individual freedom. How? When we do not merge religion with the state, we give freedom to every individual to propagate and practice their religion with all freedom. People should be free to propagate, follow and exit the religion and try new religion. So every people in India, according to the constitution, is free to practice a religion of their own choice. And if I feel like the religion that I am practicing is not good for me, I have the freedom to exit that religion and take a new path. Okay. And this also protects the democratic fabric of the nation. How does that happen? A democratic nation works on the principles of equality, and keeping this in mind, all religions should be treated equally. Only then a state can be fully democratic. What? everyone can be treated equally. No one should be given hierarchy based on their religion. Okay, this gives a equal opportunity for people of all religion. So what is the importance of separating religion from state? The first one is it protects individual freedom, and the second one is it protects the democratic fabric of the state. Now, Indian secularism. In the country of India, works in various ways to maintain a secular nation. So let's see how are the few ways in which India works to maintain a secular nation. Look at the next page. Okay, the blue box. This gives us information on how India tries to have a secular state. No religious group controls the Indian state or gets support from it. Meaning, no political parties should, or that's the rule, should support any nation, any religion. Okay, and no religion should be backing up any political party. Then, no religion institution is to be provided in educational institute to maintain, especially which is maintained by the government. Meaning, if it is a government institution, then they cannot teach any religion in that educational institution. So all government institution does not propagate any specific religious studies or anything in particular. Then, no person is compelled to pay tax. That means because I am following this religion and under a religious institution, we do not have to pay tax to the government. Okay, this is all because our country wants to be a secular country. Okay, freedom for all religion. And there is a policy of non-interference of the government into religious activities. Meaning, there is in Islamism, in Christianity, in Hinduism, and many other religions, they have their own laws and practices when it comes to marriage or when it comes to claiming the property and etc. So, when it is a religious practice or a law, the government does not get involved, but people are free to practice their own law according to their religion. Okay, at the same time, a little interference is done by the government in case the law or the rule that followed by this religion is hurting the sentiments of other people or the Indian nation in totality. What is the example? For example, caste system. Caste system is practiced by the Hinduism, right? So there is a following of untouchability, right? Here, untouchable people are being discriminated. Now, India will not tolerate the practice of untouchability. So in this stage, the government had to interfere and tell that untouchability has to be abolished or it should not be practiced. In certain cases, the government will involve, but they will not interfere in anything. Okay. That is Indian secularism. They will interfere if it is hurting the sentiments of the whole country. Okay. Then, through the fundamental rights such as freedom of religion and culture and educational rights, all individuals have the rights to practice any religion they desire. So it is also a fundamental right that everyone is free to practice their own religion. We will look in details in some time. Okay, so let's move on to fundamental rights. What is fundamental rights? These are basic human rights to ensure dignity and freedom for all individual. Okay, that is important. This is basic needs. It's like basic needs. Why? To ensure dignity, respect for all humans, to treat everyone equally. So these are the fundamental rights. During the colonial rule, when British was ruling, there was so many times where people were treated with disrespect. That is why Indian Constitution decided to frame fundamental rights for every individual. Now, when India was framing its constitution, it also had certain international declaration in mind, such as these. So when India was doing its constitution, it's not only from Indian constitution, but it also had help of international constitutions or declarations. So what are the three groups that helped us? The Declaration of Rights, a legacy of the French Revolution. We took that from the French Revolution. Declaration of Rights from the French Revolution. Then Bill of Rights, that is from the Constitution of United States of America 1791. And finally, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, adopted by the UN Assembly in 10 December 1948. So the declarations of fundamental rights are also taken or declared from these three: Declaration of the Rights from French Revolution, Bill of Rights from the US Constitution, and Universal Declaration of Human Rights from the United Nations. Now, what are the significance of fundamental rights? This is the basic of the Constitution, and this determines the right that is provided for each individual under the Constitution. Okay, this rights protects the people from being discriminated, and these rights are enforceable by law, and thus no one can move the Supreme Court or the High Court. Thus one can move to the Supreme Court or the High Court for enforcement. What does that mean? In case any of your fundamental right is violated, or somebody is stopping you from your fundamental right, you have the right to take them to the court, to the Supreme Court, to the High Court, and to the Supreme Court. Meaning you have the freedom to practice your fundamental rights. Okay. And this is also one of the reason by which untouchability was abolished, by giving equal rights to everyone. So these are the things that fundamental rights did. Now, the most important thing that we need to learn in this chapter is the 6 fundamental rights. So, what is the first one? Right to equality. Then, right to freedom. Then, right against exploitation. Right to freedom of religion. Right to cultural and educational right. Right to constitutional remedies. These are your 6 fundamental rights. You need to by heart them. Okay, you need to know this. So what is right to equality? What is the meaning of right to equality? Right to equality means everybody is equal in front of the law. Nobody is discriminated based on their sex, their creed, their caste, their religion or race. Everybody is equal in front of the law, and everyone has to be treated equally. Now, there are only two exceptions when it comes to right to equality. Why? Because in the state there is reservation for women. Sometimes in some governing bodies the reservation of women is there. Why? Because they were treated badly in the past. So now there is reservation for women, and also there is reservation for special provision for socially and economically backward people, and also for scheduled class and scheduled tribe. So there is extra privileges for women, economically backward people, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. Why? Because they want to develop them also. Okay. Now, what are the implements of right to equality? What did we achieve by following right to equality? Firstly, the untouchability was abolished. Okay. And secondly, few people were not allowed to enter certain public places or drink water from public taps or enter some religious institution. That is abolished. Okay, that is cancelled. That is treated as an offense. Now, the third implementation is there were times in the past where people used to call people from higher classes Rajas or Maharaja, Sahib, Bahadur, etc. with titles. Even that is cancelled under equality. Why? Because everyone should be treated in a equal plane. What is right to freedom? Right to freedom is a very important right, because under this there is many fundamental rights. One is freedom to speech and expression. We have the freedom to speak and express our ideas. Freedom to assemble peacefully without arms. Meaning, if we have to meet in a group, we have the freedom to meet in a group without arms, meaning without any weapons. Okay. Freedom to form associations and unions. We have the freedom to form association. We can form children's association, youth association, women association, men association. So we have the freedom to form groups and association. We have the freedom to go freely inside India. Nobody can stop us from going to any state in India. We have the freedom of movement. And we have the freedom to reside and settle in any part of India. If you decide that you want to move from Karnataka to, let's say, Odisha or Andhra Pradesh or Kerala, you have the freedom to do that. Then, freedom to practice trade, profession, or any business. We have the freedom to choose which business we have to practice. But what is the main criteria? When we follow all this freedom, we should also make sure that we are not affecting other people in a bad way. We should not harm the interest of others. Okay. So, and one more thing. If anybody is taken under custody or arrested in a jail, the constitution has given every person to right to life. Okay, this is another freedom. Freedom to move, freedom for life. Now, if anybody is arrested by the police in a jail, then the person has this three rights. What is it? A person cannot be detained in custody without being informed about the grounds of arrest. That means a person cannot be put inside the jail without telling him why he is being arrested. Without a proof and without a custody, without a reason, nobody can be put in jail. Okay, that is against the law. He or she can be determined can be defended by a lawyer of his choice. And if they are being put in a jail, then they have the freedom to bring their lawyer, and the lawyer can defend them and release them. Okay, he or she has the right to be produced before the nearest magistrate within 24 hours of arrest. Now, if anybody is arrested, then within 24 hours, they have to be taken, they have the right to be taken to the nearest magistrate. And what happens at the nearest magistrate? They will give the rule if this person has to be in jail or not. Okay, so they have the freedom to go to the nearest magistrate. Okay, right against exploitation. What does that mean? Why did they have to bring in this right? Because there were people who were being treated badly or unequally, or being abused physically and exploited, misused. So that's why we have to bring in the right. So under this right, there is freedom for individuals, and especially for kids below 14 years are not supposed to be employed anywhere. Okay, that is one law that was passed in 2006, that no children below the age of 14 should be employed anywhere, especially in dangerous places, mines, etc. Okay, and the abolition of bonded labor, slavery, human trafficking, and practice of endangering children below 14 years is abolished under right against exploitation. If anybody does that, they will be punished. No slavery, no bonded labor, no human trafficking, and no children under 14 years should be sent to work. Right to freedom of religion. We already saw this. That is secularism. That everybody has the freedom to practice the religion of their choice. And there is no state religion. India does not have a state religion. Okay, India cannot say one particular religion is the state religion. India has no state religion. And people are free to practice whatever they like. And people are free to profess, practice, and propagate their religion. If somebody likes a religion, they can spread the religion to others. They can propagate, they can speak about it. You have the freedom to speak about your religion to others. You have the freedom. And every religion is free to establish and maintain institutions. Okay, we can have, every religion can have land under them, they can have institutions under them. It's their choice. And just that no state funded religion should be engaged in religious education, propagating any religious education. Just what is it? If it is a state funded, or if it's a government institution, then it does not have a freedom to run any religion or propagate any religion under it. Okay, now cultural and educational right. What is cultural and educational right? People in our country not only follow different religion, we also have different culture and practices. So all this culture has to be preserved, and all languages and all cultural dances, folklores, etc. is being given the right to be preserved, okay, and followed. And they have the freedom to set up their own educational institution, cultural institution, okay, and they have the freedom to be secured, okay, they have to be safe. Okay, they have the freedom to set up their own educational institution for this purpose. Okay, the culture and educational rights help to create a feeling of security among the minorities and a bonding with the rest of the population. Okay, this gives a security to the minorities. Why? Because their culture is being preserved. Nobody is asking them to change what they are following. What is rights to constitutional remedies? It is very simple. Now, in all this fundamental rights that is being given to you, in case anybody violates or does not allow you to practice any of your fundamental rights, you have the freedom to take it to court. Example, right to freedom of movement, or under freedom of, what was that freedom? Right to freedom, right? So right to freedom, under right to freedom, we have freedom of movement, which means we are free to move from one state to the other state in India. But if somebody stops you from doing that, you can take them to the court. And if they stop you from doing that without a reason, then they are answerable to the court, and the Supreme Court or the High Court will give you the permission to move under special guidance. Okay. Finally, we will see fundamental duties. What is fundamental duties? When we have been given the freedom, we are also given some responsibilities. That is fundamental duties. So, there are some responsibilities that we have to follow being a citizen of India. These responsibilities are our fundamental duties. The very first fundamental duty is that we have to respect our national flag and national anthem. Being an Indian, it is my duty, it's our duty to respect our national flag and national anthem. What do you see in that green box? Did you study it in your last year? It's election. It is our duty to elect. Okay, what is the next duty? It is our duty to inspire and cherish the people who struggled for us, for our freedom of our nation. So we should respect and we should cherish them because they struggled for our freedom. Okay, then we should protect the unity and integrity of the country. We should strive to achieve unity. We should not fight. We should be united, and we should also defend our country if there is any war. Okay, we should be ready to defend our country in times of struggle, and if there is a call for war, we should be able to defend our country. Then it is our duty to promote the spirit of brotherhood and happiness among our people, and we should live with the spirit of brotherhood. And we should protect the national monument, right? We have so many beautiful monuments in our country. It is our duty to protect our national monuments, starting from protecting your school building, not scratching on the desk and bench and on the walls. It is our duty to protect the buildings in our country, and especially the national monuments. Then we should protect the environment. We should not destroy the environment, and we should preserve the forest and the wildlife. And it is our duty to have a urge to develop scientific inventions for the betterment of the country. And finally, it's our duty to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity, so that the nation constantly rises to a great heights. So what can you do as an individual? You can always strive to be excellent at everything you do. What does that mean? You are a student now, be an excellent student. You are a child at your home, be an excellent child. Do only what is good. So when you do that, you are adding or being a responsible citizen. Okay? What is the importance of fundamental duties? Why do we need them? It is because these fundamental duties impose or give us a sense of nationalism. Because of these fundamental duties, I feel like I am an Indian. I have a sense of nationalism. When we don't have fundamental duties, we will not have the sense of nationalism. And this helps us to protect everything that belongs to our country, standing together. Okay? And this helps us to respect the national institution and also to preserve unity and integrity among the people. So this rights and duties go hand in hand. If there is rights, there is also duties. If we give duties, we should also give rights. So both of this has to go hand in hand. Okay. Whereas duties facilitate a smooth interaction and developing a sense of responsibility, rights without any obligation would be meaningless. Together, the rights and duties helps us to live harmoniously, contributing towards national progress. Okay, now rights. Why do we have rights? Because to give us dignity and equality. At the same time, why do we have duties? So we can preserve our national heritage and everything that we have. So when there is rules, when there is responsibilities, we can run our nation smoothly. That is why we have rights and duties. Both has to go hand in hand. So that's the end of the chapter. We will look at the exercises. I'll send you the answers. If you have any doubts, do contact. Thank you.